Howdy, guys. Welcome to night 15 inside the Big Brother All-Stars house. This is Cliff Notes from outside the Big Brother house. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of conversations going on, some pretty big ones at the very end of the evening. So let's get right into it. Otherwise, I'll never have enough time to cover it all. And I want to make sure that y'all know everything that's been going on this evening. So let's start off a little bit earlier, late afternoon, but I thought it was important just to point this out to y'all. Nicole has been talking about that she really feels that Jenelle and Kaysar set her up, threw her under the bus. It's been the story for the last few days. Well, Kaysar eventually talks to Nicole today, and Nicole Anthony, and seems to convince Nicole that, no, they really are on your side. Nicole is feeling bad. She's feeling embarrassed. She tells Kaysar that she's been telling everyone that Jenelle and Kaysar set her up and how bad she feels about it. Kaysar, man, I love this guy. He is. I love his gameplay. He's a very kind individual as well. He told Nicole he's very forgiving. He tells her that it doesn't matter. It's okay. We still need to save you. That's all we need to worry about right now. We understand. It's all right. So they now realize kind of what's been happening. There's been some communication, which should have happened a while back, but now it's happened. So another conversation, Nicole Anthony again talking to Kevin. Nicole is thinking that Davon, Enzo, Ian, and Nicole Franzel are uncertain that Danny, Cody, and Tyler are locks against Nicole Anthony voting to save David. Nicole Anthony's thinking Bailey and Christmas are probably locked for her. Kevin says the problem is that Davon thinks that the two sides will be shooting at each other, not her, so she's not so worried about targets and everything. Then it gets back to her wanting to make her moral choice in this particular situation. Nicole talks about that she thinks this is short-term thinking. David won't be able to protect her. Kevin said, you just need to remind Davon that y'all have to take out the physical players if Davon ever wants to win any power and have any say in this game. Later, Danny, Cody, Davon, and Bailey, who are in an alliance, those four together, are talking. They're still planning to keep David, but they talk about they're not worried about David or Nicole Anthony, either one. They don't see either one of them as a threat. They don't think that either one of those two will come after them. No matter who stays, they won't be coming after that group of four. So they're really saying, it doesn't really matter. We're going to keep David, but we're not worried. That's other things to take care of. Cody and Danny have talked to David a lot and told him that Memphis didn't see you as a target. He didn't ever want to send you home. So you don't need to come back and go after Memphis. We got other fish to fry. And so they've tried to tell David, don't hold a grudge. Work with the team and all of that. All right, so another conversation. That side, that alliance, that side of the house they're feeling very comfortable in their position. Christmas is talking to Cody, and she's got a plan to protect all of them in case Jenelle or Kaysar win HOH. She says that Memphis and Enzo need to throw the safety suite competition, let Nicole Franzel win it, and then she can either take Cody or Tyler as her +1. Kaysar or Jenelle would put two of the others up on the block, but they're comfortable that one of them would win the veto, pull themselves off, and then they would have the numbers to vote out whoever else is in there. I'm not sure exactly how it reads, but the main thing is that Christmas and the rest of them feel like they've got a grasp that they're running the house at this point in time. And even a Jenelle or Kaysar victory in the HOH, they don't think it's going to be that big a deal to affect their power. We'll see. All right. Here's a little interesting conversation. This has to do with have-nots and the fact that current have-nots pick the next have-nots. There was a little conversation about this evening that was kind of interesting. Danny, Cody, and Christmas, they want Nicole Franzel, who's currently a have-not. They want her to pick Jenelle, make her be a have-not next week. Seems like it's a foregone conclusion that will happen. There's some talk that Kaysar may actually pick Jenelle first if he gets a chance, just to keep Nicole Franzel from having the chance to pick Jenelle. Just because they want to take that away from her. But apparently with the knowledge or the thinking that Jenelle will be a have-not, Bailey has apparently volunteered to be Christmas's pick, and they think it's so that she can spend all week with Jenelle up in the have-not room. So is that good for them? Is it bad for them? Depends on which side Bailey's on, I suppose. Cody suggests to Nicole Franzel, says, hey, if Kaysar goes first, he picks Jenelle. Why don't you pick me as a have-not? And I wonder, is this so he can kind of keep an eye on Bailey and Jenelle and make sure they aren't up in a have-not room plotting? Don't know. It could be a possibility. But I thought it was interesting that these have-nots picking new have-nots is putting some more strategy into the game in terms of who you're picking, who you're aligning with, who you're trying to punish. I really like this twist in the have-nots situation. So good job, producers. Good job, Big Brother. All right, a few more conversations. Jenelle and Davon. Jenelle confirms to Davon that Memphis has said he will send out David in case of a tie. We need you, Davon, and Memphis has already confirmed it. That'll come into play here in a little bit. Jenelle also tells Davon, says, David is a physical threat. He has to go. I understand for moral reasons you may not want to do it, but he's too powerful not to get rid of him while we have the chance. Danny and Cody are having a conversation. They're upset that Bailey is spending so much time with Jenelle. And they agree that if one of them is HOH, Kaysar and Jenelle go on the block, as would be expected. But if one of them comes off with a veto, they're saying Davon should go up in her place. And then Nicole Franzel later comes in, and Danny tells her that she is done with Davon. So Davon trying to work a bunch of sides has maybe alienated some people, and she may need to be watching her position a little bit because now she's created some mistrust with that side of the house. And she's also alienated Kaysar and Jenelle because of her insistence on keeping David in the house, even while acknowledging it may not be best for her game. So she's kind of alienated both sides and just needs to be careful. All right, some other conversations. Nicole Anthony visited Memphis in the HOH room to ask for his vote, just in case it's a tie. I will say I think this is the shortest campaign speech in history. No one sat down. They never even had a chance really to. She just came in. She truly took about 15, 20 seconds, it seems like, says, you know where I'm at. You know I'm not going to come after you. If it's a tie, I would certainly appreciate it. And he said, okay, well, let me think about it. Sleep on it. We'll see. Okay, thanks, Memphis. And she's out the door. So very quick. But she is thinking that she has the votes to create a tie, and that'll come up in the conversation here in just a second as well. I'm teasing y'all a little bit towards the end. All right, so what else is going on? Nicole Anthony and Ian speaking. Now, Ian is someone that she wants to get the votes from. She tells him that she has 6 votes already, that Ian would be the 7th vote. And he says, well, you only need 6 and then Memphis to break the tie. Do you not think Memphis is going to break the tie? She says, well, I'm not sure about Memphis, so I'd love to have you on board as well as a 7th so we don't have to go to Memphis. She promised Ian that she would keep him off the block if she won HOH, and that she still has her safety pass, that she will play in it the next week. And if she won, she made a promise that she would make him her +1, so protect him for another week. Ian said he liked those chances. He told her, he said, look, to be honest, I was leaning towards David, probably like 66% or so leaning towards David. He said, with this information, my percentage dropped a little bit. You're probably like 46%, probably 54% that keep David, 46% that I'll keep you. So let me sleep on it. Let me talk it some more tomorrow, but let me sleep on it. But the odds came down, percentages came down a little bit. Ian, he's such an analytical person. I love that kind of person. So anyway, so she talked to Ian, but it still sounds like he's tending to lean towards saving David. And one of the things he mentioned was that he and David played a lot of chess together. The social game is so important. Even when you're just playing games like chess or backgammon, still really important, guys, to do that kind of stuff. All right, so let's see, what else? Ian and Jenelle later talk. Janelle's trying to get him to vote as well. She tells him that he is the tie vote, not number 7. So a little different than what Nicole said. I think she's trying to put a little more pressure on Ian. Ian says he wants to work with Jenelle and Kaysar, but he just worries about friction with Nicole Franzel. He also wants to know if he doesn't vote to save Nicole, is she still willing to work with him, or is this only if he throws his vote towards Nicole? She says, no, I'll be sad if you don't save Nicole Anthony, but I still want to work with you. And I got to say, I really think Ian wants to work with Kaysar. If he can find a way to do it that justifies his game and fits in with his analysis, I think he has a lot of respect for Kaysar and vice versa. So I can see the two of them wanting to work together. We'll just see if it happens. Another conversation, Kevin and Davon. Kevin's working on Davon, trying to get her vote. He says that Davon says that she won't keep her promise. I think this is to David. She won't keep a promise to David to the end, but she just doesn't think that she can contribute to a person of color going out second. That just doesn't sit right with her. Kevin responds, says, we can have an alliance with Nicole Anthony, but not David. He's on the other side. You can't have an alliance with them. Davon is worried that they have all the comp winners on the other side, and Kevin says, well, yeah, but what if they also have the numbers? Then we're really in trouble. Our only chance is to try to get the numbers so we can get those comp beasts out the door. So he's working on Davon a little bit. Take a short break from the strategy. The have-nots finally get to eat at midnight. We get to see it on the live feeds this time. They also made cakes and they celebrated Christmas's birthday. So they took a little break and had fun just celebrating with each other, which was fun to watch. All right, so next, I gotta go fast. I told y'all. Bailey's upset that 3 different people have come up to her and said that Jenelle is coming after them, and therefore wondering if Bailey is coming after them as well. She's upset that she's being linked. Jenelle is apologizing that this has happened. They're meeting in the love room. This is Kaysar, Jenelle, Nicole Anthony, and Kevin. Nicole Anthony is arguing that Bailey's going to be linked to Jenelle and Kaysar no matter which way she votes. That ship done sailed. And so it doesn't matter, and that shouldn't be a good excuse. They need her vote. He's trying to get Bailey and Christmas and Davon to come into the love room so they can all talk together. So it's not a lot of, hey, if you do it, I'll do it. If you do it, I'll do it. She wants to get them all together so they can, as a group, agree to support Nicole Anthony and save her. They're in the bathroom getting their hair done for the evening and getting ready for bed, but they eventually do drag them into the love room and start talking to them. Very interesting conversation. This is the key, I think, for the whole evening, guys. They all come in. Kaysar's basically leading the meeting. He says they're all going to get picked off one by one if they don't come together. He didn't come to All-Stars just to get picked off like that. He could have stayed home. He wants them to work together to go after the big side while he still has a chance. Nicole Anthony says that now this is interesting. Nicole Anthony says David told me immediately after the veto that he had the votes. And everyone in that room's kind of, wow, really? Why is that? And Kaysar says, well, it's because he was already in an alliance. He immediately had the people say, you're good, my friend, you're good. So that's further indication that he truly is in alliance with the other side. The big question comes up, is Memphis going to break the tie? There's only 6 of us that are talking about voting to support Nicole. That means we need Memphis. Jenelle and Kaysar say he says he's going to break the tie, but he told everyone else, Bailey, Christmas, Davon, said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I may just eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and randomly pick someone. Well, they don't want that. They don't want to be on the losing end, so they are very concerned with that, extremely upset that they don't know yet. Bailey, Davon, and Christmas are talking about how dangerous it is to even meet, especially when they don't have Memphis's assurance. Davon's upset. She was told that Bailey and Christmas were already locked in. Turns out that wasn't the case. Eventually, Kaysar gets them to agree to keep Nicole Anthony if they have assurances or promises from Memphis about breaking the tie, which they'll get the next day. And they all say, yeah, okay, we probably would be willing to do that. Well, at that point, Nicole asks Kaysar and Jenelle to leave so she can talk to the others just a little bit more. And she starts throwing Kaysar and Jenelle under the bus, saying, look, I still don't trust them at all, but I have to have their vote, so I've got to work with them. And then she says, hey, we need those votes, but if we could create a 5-person alliance that doesn't include those 2 people, would it be easier for y'all to vote to save me? Because if so, I'm ready to not even bring them in on the alliance. Well, the other side waffles a little bit. They still aren't committing. They're still saying, we've got to find out about Memphis. We don't know. And Nicole just gets a little frustrated, kind of throws up her hands and says, I'm done. Whatever. Thanks. Don't worry about it. But the writing's on the wall. I know how this is going to go, so it's not going to work. But thanks anyway, guys. She kind of gave up. She needs to keep fighting, but she was a little frustrated at the time. So final conversation, just to finish this all off. They have this big meeting. They're trying to be secret. Almost immediately afterwards, Bailey goes into the photo room. She tells everyone in there everything that happened. She bought herself a lot of trust with that group. Christmas and Davon, not so much, because Bailey was the first one in there. Now, she did then turn around and tell Davon what she did. But now the other side knows all about it, and we will see what happens. Prediction, I don't think Nicole's going to have the votes. People are going to back off at this point in time. Nicole probably goes home, but we shall see. It's Big Brother, right? Expect the unexpected. I'll see y'all back in 24 hours, guys, for a new update. Eviction night tomorrow, or this evening, I guess. SKD 143. Cheers, guys. Good night. Bye. I love Big Brother.